Whether you call them crawfish or crawdads, crayfish, mudbugs, or yabbies, chances are there's some of these living in a river or lake near you. And today, we're making a delicious crawfish etouffee that everyone's gonna love. So let's get started. Get that guy though. That's a nice crawdad. Ooh, that's an even nicer crawdad. Where are you gonna go? In the net. Where are you gonna go? In the net. Ooh, there's another nice one. Scare him for there. In the net. Oh boy. Oh, that's a monster. In the net. Uh-oh, in the net. Oh yeah! Oh, my net's getting too heavy to move. Let's take a look at the ingredients, starting with some butter and flour for making the roux, which is going to add some really nice flavor as well as thicken the etouffee. Next, I have the trinity, which is equal parts bell pepper, celery, and onion, diced as fine or as big as you like. I've got a few cloves of minced garlic and a couple of bay leaves, some diced canned tomatoes, and some kind of stock. And you could use shrimp stock or chicken stock, but I just happen to have had a crawfish boil, so I've got some nice crawfish stock here. And of course, I've got those beautiful crawfish tails all peeled and ready to go. And apart from that, I'm going to add a couple of types of dried red pepper, one for flavor and one for heat. Let's get the roux started, for which I'm going to use equal parts of butter and flour. And this is a pretty small batch, so I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of each. And this is going to be on pretty medium-low heat. You're going to go nice and slow here so you don't burn the flour. You really want to roast it. And for a little curveball, I'm going to throw in half butter and half bacon fat on this. Just for a little extra flavor, but you could use all butter or all bacon fat. Just get that melting in there. Then we'll add in the flour, and we're just going to cook this over that lowish, medium-low heat for probably 10 or 15 minutes until we get a nice kind of peanut butter colored roux. And we're going to stir it quite often, if not the whole time. It's a few minutes in, and it's starting to get kind of a light gold color going. There's still quite a while to go, so we'll just keep moving it to make sure it doesn't sit anywhere too long and burn. There we go. See, it's got a real nice peanut butter color now. It's got a beautiful roasty aroma along with a little bit of that bacon scent. And that did take just about 15 minutes on that low heat. And now, let's get our vegetables in there. So, we've got the trinity. We got the bell pepper. Of course, you can use green bell pepper here. I just got a red one because it was on sale, and I do like the contrasting color. There goes our onion and our celery. I always hit that with just a little pinch of salt. Not a lot, because the broth is well seasoned. We'll get the garlic and the bay leaves in there. And now we can bring that up to about medium heat and saute this for a few minutes until those veggies start to soften up a little bit. I'll go ahead and hit that with some black pepper too. Alright, I've sauteed those for around 5 minutes. Everything's starting to get soft in there. And so let's get in there with our tomato. I drained off most of the liquid on that tomato. Now I'm going to raise that up to around medium-high, and we'll get the stock in there. I'm going to start with a couple of cups of stock there, and we'll see how that ends up thickening when this comes up to a boil. I don't want this to be soupy. I want this to be like a nice, rich gravy with plenty of chunks of veggie in there. Now that this is up to a boil, I can tell how thick it's going to be. And this is actually just a hair thinner than I want. So I'll just let that cook down for a few minutes and it'll be exactly what I'm looking for. After just a few minutes of cooking down, this is now nice and thick and just how I want it. So I'm going to add in some very hot powdered red pepper. This is about 5 times hotter than cayenne, so I'm just going to use a hair of that. But I do want more pepper flavor, so I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons of some mild chili flake as well. And that should give me a lot of pepper flavor, but just the right amount of heat that I can share this with some other people. So now let's give it a quick taste. So it's gonna need a pinch of salt. So now we'll turn this way down just to a very low simmer and we'll cover that. And we're gonna let this simmer down there for at least 30 minutes and up to an hour just to let all those flavors work together and become one delicious sauce. I'm not gonna add the crawfish yet because they're already cooked. And if I put them in now, they're gonna turn into little hard nuggets. So those aren't gonna go in until the very, very end. Ooh-wee, that smells good. Oh yeah, take a look at that. Oh man, nice and thick and rich looking now. All right, I have been simmering that for just about 45 minutes. And now, I'm gonna go in with our beautiful crawfish meat. Bump that heat up. This is gonna come up to a boil. And I'm just gonna simmer that for a few minutes just to get the heat through those delicious crawfish tails. And now that everything's all heated through, I'll give that one last taste for seasoning. And that is just about right. Nice. And very end, I'll throw in a little handful of chopped parsley just for a little fresh pop. Oh, that looks beautiful. Now while that was simmering, I also went ahead and steamed up some white rice, also using that crawfish broth to make it extra tasty. So I'll get myself a scoop of that and plate this up. Let's see how we did. I'll save this guy for later. And let's get a taste of this etouffee. I'll get some of that rice. Make sure I got a little bit of everything in that bite. Oh my. Woo! Now there's a bite. Hey, now. Yeah. That is fantastic. It's really savory and rich, but the star here is definitely those crawfish tails. They've got a really shrimp-like texture, but a unique, slightly sweet flavor that is all their own. They are absolutely wonderful, and this is just a really, really classic way to cook them. It's delicious. Oh yeah. Now we just went out and caught these guys yesterday. We had a big boil, and I'll put a link to that video at the end of this one. And these are just the leftover tails, and this just is a perfect way to use them up. Well, I really hope you get a chance to get out there and catch your own big mess of crawfish. But if you can't, go ahead and sub out some shrimp and try this recipe, and I know you're gonna love it. Thanks for watching.